Hello and welcome to this edition of Dirt Talk with Drake York. And today on the show I have Mike Spenser, sprint car driver, on the show. It's good to have you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
We're on location here at the scenic Calistoga Speedway, but this part behind me isn't not that scenic as you think it is. But Mike, I just want to say, are you pooped from last night because you had very little power steering in the car?
Yeah, actually, it wasn't. It still had the power steering. When I started the feature, it felt like it was really hard to steer, as if it was going out. And at speed, I could steer it fine. It was just, for some reason, under yellow, it felt like it was hard to steer. But yeah, I'm ready to go again here tonight, and looking for a better night here tonight.
Well, good luck to you later tonight, Mike. So let's start off at the beginning of your career. What was your introduction to the sport of racing?
So my dad raced sprint cars back at Ascot in the CRA, out of Southern California. He raced sprint cars there from like '76 through 1984, and then my grandpa actually raced jalopies back in the '50s. So I guess kind of grew up around it with my dad, and then after my dad stopped racing, we would go to Ascot, and so I always wanted to race sprint cars growing up and everything, and so that's where that started. And then when I got my driver's license, I started just going to the racetrack more and trying to get involved and on somebody's pit crew, and so it's where I met a guy named Hal Engstrom, and that's who I ended up driving for later on. So I was really fortunate in that, and so I got my start in mini sprints and then moved up to sprint cars.
How old were you when you started, and how many years have you been driving sprint cars?
So I was 17 when I started racing mini sprints, and then I ran those for a year and a half, and then my first year in sprint cars was 2001, which I think I guess I was 19.
What cars do you currently drive in what series?
So I'm driving the Ganson Engineering number 4S with the USAC CRA series, and that's pretty much what I got going on right now. That full schedule, and sometimes I'll run a 360 here or there, or a midget or something, but none of that other stuff has really come up this year, so pretty much just driving for these guys.
You've ran out a lot of tracks with the mini sprints, as you mentioned earlier, and the sprint cars, but out of all those tracks, which one was your favorite?
My favorite track would be Terre Haute, Indiana. A lot of history there, big, fast, sweeping corners, and it's kind of one of the tracks where you have to turn the car with the throttle down, and you can actually kind of get it pretty sideways for as fast as you're going. So I'd say Terre Haute.
What is your favorite race or event that is on your schedule, or just out of every event in the year?
Oval Nationals, for sure. That's I grew up just really close to Paris, and so that's always been my favorite. This year the Louisville Mill Classic is ranks right up there too. Just a great event, but the Oval Nationals is my favorite for sure.
Have you ever ran Indiana Sprint Week, and if you haven't, would you plan on running that in the future?
Yeah, no, I've run Indiana Sprint Week probably a handful, 5, maybe 6 times. Kind of early on in my career, I got to drive for a guy out of Indiana, and I went back and ran all the USAC dirt stuff, like in 2003 and 4, and then kind of went back with Keith Coons one summer, or for one sprint week, and then Scooter Ellis a couple times, and then the 50 car went back, I think, in 2011. So yeah, I've been there quite a few times.
Have you ever tried pavement sprint car racing?
A couple times at Turkey Night down at Irwindale, and then I had tested one time on the pavement at IRP. I guess now it's called ORP, Raceway Park in Indianapolis. But I haven't done a lot of pavement racing, and just a couple times, and I did learn that I need to get some laps in, because I was a little off the pace and got made improvements each time. But those guys that race the pavement all the time, they're very good at what they do.
California Sprint Week is coming up. What do you enjoy about racing for an entire week?
Just going to all the different tracks in a short amount of time, and anymore our schedule is so spread out, we don't get to race a lot, and you get to run a different track or the same track here the next night, so you can change your car around, and if you're kind of searching, you have another shot the next night to make improvements, and it's nice. It's fun traveling up and down the road a little bit and kind of making a whole trip out of it, and getting to race 6 times in a week is really cool. It doesn't get much better than that.
Have you ran a wing sprint car, and if you haven't in the future, would you like to do that?
I'd love to run a wing sprint car. I have not. Mini sprints, I raced those. They had wings on them. Like I said, for a year and a half, but never driven a wing sprint car.
You have been in this sport for quite some time. I'm sure you've collected a lot of big wins, but what was your biggest win that you've collected over the years?
That would be the Oval Nationals, for sure. That was 2012, and I'd come really close. I'd run second and third and fourth, and I was able to finally get it done. So that was kind of a big relief and a big moment for me. Like I said, it's my favorite race, and it's really close to home, and I have a lot of friends and family that come out. So yeah, that one.
How many championships have you won with the USAC CRA series?
5.
So how hard is it to win a championship with the CRA series?
Well, I mean, it's very difficult. You look back over the years, and there's not that many guys over the time span. You see a lot of repeat winners, and it's very challenging. You got 26 races now. I mean, the schedule has fluctuated, but there's probably 6, 7 guys that can win on any given night, and to be consistent over a year's time. So it's challenging, and I've been kind of up and down, and right now we've been struggling a little bit in the last month or two. So hopefully we can get back going again. But yeah, it's a challenge. Everybody puts a lot of effort into it, and there's only one champion. So yeah, something to work for.
What is a race that you haven't won that you would like to win in the future?
That I haven't won. I know I'd like to win at. I haven't won at Chico or Hanford on our schedule. And I think I've been able to win at some of the other ones. So I guess that sticks out as places I'd like to win at.
Who is your biggest rival? Because racing is pretty much about winning and rivals. So who's been the toughest guy to beat?
The toughest guy to beat is the last few years, and he's the defending champion a couple times, is Damian Gardner. And him and I have had some good races over the years, and have been competitors for that top spot. So I would say probably him.
Who did you look up to when you were at Ascot as a kid?
Dean Thompson, for sure. I always liked whoever drove the Brahmy cars, and so Dean won a lot of races, a lot of championships for the Brahmy family. And my dad was really good friends with Dean and Bruce Brahmy Jr., so I always liked. He was probably always my favorite, and he really helped me a lot when I was getting started in racing and stuff, and kind of like giving me confidence that I could do it, and so he played a big part early on in my career, but my favorite driver, probably when I remember having a single favorite guy, would have been Billy Boat, probably later on in about 1990 when Ascot closed. He was like really exciting to watch, and he drove for the Brahmies. And he'd like set fast time, and he'd either probably win and he kind of crashed a lot, but he was always going forward and always exciting to watch.
What is your day job when you're not driving a sprint car?
I'm a mechanical engineer, so we work for an aerospace testing company.
What hobbies do you have when you're not sitting behind a sprint car?
I enjoy going to the lake. My family, we go up to Lake Havasu. We try to go up there in the summertime. I like to water ski and wakeboard and stuff, and also I like to ride motorcycles. We try to go make a desert trip, so I enjoy that too, away from the racetrack. And now I have 2 little kids, and so really enjoy spending time with them.
What are your plans for the rest of the 2016 season, and do you have any plans laid out for 2017 yet?
Well, just the goal would be just to try to win a race, starting with tonight. Keep making improvements and improve our speed rating, and hopefully we can get up there and contend for wins and build consistency to be able to race up front. And beyond that, for next year, really don't have anything lined up for next year. I think everything's going to be good with the Ganson team. At least everybody seems on board to for a longer term deal. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and hopefully we can, like I said, build some speed and consistency and contend for wins.
Our final question of the day for you, Mike, is the fan zone question, and the fan zone question is from Jason York. You've raced with him in the past. He asked, what's it like to be compared to Jimmy Oskey as a 5-time CRA champion?
I don't know. That's I knew Jimmy since I was born. Basically, my dad was Jimmy Oskey's mechanic in 1971. So I've known Jimmy, and I know that he was a 5-time champion and Hall of Famer. Just to share that stat with him is pretty amazing, and I don't even know how to see how it feels. I mean, he's done so much in his career and so well respected. I don't know. He always comes by, and he's him and I are friends. He'll come by, and he has a way of telling you something about the situation, whether you've won or whether you finished last. He can usually say something that might make you laugh, or about the whole situation, and kind of a way to sort of swing it around and look at it positively, and a way to go forward. And he would always say, he goes, "You always have that hope." And so yeah, he's just a good guy, and he still comes to races, and so yeah, that feels pretty good to be able to share that with him.
That's going to wrap up our show today. Thank you, Mike.
All right, thanks, Drake.
Good luck tonight later at the Louis Vermeil Classic here tonight, as a try to improve that showing from last night. I know that's not what you wanted.
I will. I'll have to get on the gas.
Okay, this guy should be fun to watch here tonight. Today's show has been presented by Hunt's Race World and MotoWear International.